Hi, I'm Beck and Food's my life. Now, if you're a fan of sticky date pudding, then you have got to stick around for this recipe. It's coming right up. So today I'm really excited to be sharing with you a very special family recipe. This is my Nana's date cake, so my mum's mum. Now she was the best cook ever. She could cook, she could bake, she was magic in the kitchen, and this cake just makes me think of her. This cake is super tasty. That's it, pure and simple, it's delicious. It is moist, it can double up as a sticky date pudding if you like because it is so moist. You can just whack it in the microwave for 20 seconds or so and serve it with some vanilla bean ice cream or some custard. It's such a versatile cake recipe, and everyone I've ever given this to just literally eyes light up when they take a bite. So I'm so excited to show you how easy it is as well. Now, it's a recipe from Sri Lanka, so there is a little bit of a twist. There's some cashew nuts in this cake, which I love because it's a little bit different and it just gives this cake, texturally, it's a little bit of a crunch every now and then, which is something a little bit different, which is really great. This cake is not for anyone who's dieting. It contains a lot of butter, a little bit of sugar, but you know what? That's why it's so good, because that butter baking with those dates, there's a lot of caramelization going on in there, and that is why the flavor just pops in your mouth. That real caramel kind of flavor comes through. Anyway, listen, enough talk. Let me show you how easy it is to make this cake. Okay, so first things first, in my bowl here, I have chopped up quite a lot of dried pitted dates. Now to this, I'm going to add 2 cups of boiling water, because what we're going to do now is we're going to soften these dates before we add them to the cake mix. So 2 cups of boiling water, and then to this, we're going to add some baking soda. Give this a good stir, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to allow this to cool slightly on our bench top before we use it. So that baking soda is going to help break down these pieces of date so that they soften. So while our date mixture is cooling and breaking down, we're going to start the cake mixture. So in a large mixing bowl, I have some softened unsalted butter, and to this I'm going to add some caster sugar. Now use your electric beaters to cream the butter and sugar together until it's smooth and fluffy. Okay, I know that my butter and sugar has been creamed nicely now because the mixture has really fluffed up and it's nice and pale. So at this stage, what we're going to do is we're going to add all the other ingredients basically. We're going to start by adding 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And now I'm going to add some eggs that I've lightly whisked. I'm just going to use my spatula to bring them together. Okay, I can see that my egg has incorporated into that mixture. So now it's time to add those dates that have been sitting on the bench and cooling. Now this mixture is still quite wet, and that's totally fine because we're about to add some flour next. And we're going to just fold that through first. Those dates are not all broken down, and that's great. That's what I want. I don't want it to be mushy. I still want there to be little bite-sized pieces of date throughout this beautiful cake. Okay, now to soak up that moisture, we're going to add some sifted self-raising flour and use our spatula to fold that in. Okay, once you can see that those ingredients have all come together, last but definitely not least, because this is one of the highlights of this cake, I believe, I have some cashew nuts here that I have chopped by hand. I like to chop by hand because that way I know that all my pieces of nuts are quite uniform in size. if you put it in a processor, sometimes you can overdo it and the nuts become way too small for my liking. But this is personal preference. I like to have a crunch. So finally, fold in those nuts. And now it's time to tip this gorgeous batter into a prepared cake tin. Now, as you can see, this makes a lot of batter. This is going to make quite a big cake, which is perfect because trust me, you want this cake to be big. You never want this cake to end. So here I have prepared a 22 by 22 square cake tin, and I'm going to tip my cake batter into this. All right, we're ready to go. Now, meanwhile, I have been preheating my oven at a moderate to slow temperature, so about 160 degrees Celsius. And we're going to cook this. It's going to take a little while. I'm not going to tell you how long yet. I'm going to bake it first. I'm going to come back and tell you exactly how long I bake this for. Wow, this has turned out perfectly. This date cake smells delicious and my whole house smells great. I'm going to have some very happy friends come over for morning tea tomorrow. I know that for sure. Listen, in the end, I baked that in the oven for 1 hour exactly. I put my timer on for an hour, I checked it, I inserted a skewer right in the middle and it came out clean. That's how I knew it was ready. I know in the past my mother has had to cook it for a bit longer than that with a different oven. So please just really make sure you're standing by and you're checking that because you don't want to make this cake too dry if you overcook it. Remember, the great thing about the cake, the versatility here, is that you can use it as a beautiful cake. You can spread a bit of butter on that too if you want to. Why not? Add a bit more butter. Or you can always just heat it up slightly and serve it as a dessert with some ice cream or custard. I have cut myself a little piece here to do a quick taste test for you. I've added extra butter, of course. Here we go. Wow. Wow. That is so caramelly in flavour. Oh, that's fantastic. And I tell you what, those cashew nuts, that's a really special little addition that my Nana used to do. And it really just makes the cake a little bit different. Sets it apart from the others. So if you want to have a go at making my Nana's beautiful date cake, then all you need to do is check out the description box below because there you're going to find a link to my website. Once you're there, find the recipe, click on that button that says get that recipe now. It's only $1, pay by credit card or PayPal. If you've liked this video, please give me a thumbs up, or better still, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do. All you're gonna do is click on that button and you'll get a little notification every time I've cooked something new in the kitchen. I'll see you next time.